welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Yesterday, searches were carried out at the residence of two editors of The Wire in connection with an FIR registered against the portal based on a complaint by BJP's IT cell head Amit Malviya. Electronic devices were also seized from them for cloning, which included an iPhone and an iPad from MK Venu, a MacBook, two iPhones and an iPad from Siddharth Vardarajan. The police clarified that all of this was part of an ongoing investigation and that these searches have been recorded on camera. Soon after, The Wire issued a statement saying that while they have completely cooperated with the entire process, they fear for this process to be vitiated against them. Their charge was that the police didn't provide them with the hash value of digital devices that had been seized. In the absence of that, they feared that the integrity of the device and its data may be compromised. Simply put, The Wire said that the police has taken our devices and now it may tamper with them in order to plant some evidence against us. They also alleged that despite full cooperation, the offices of The Wire were subjected to a search and one of their lawyers was physically pushed out by the police officers. Soon after, several voices of support from other quarters poured in. From politicians to other reporter collectives, they all variously dubbed the legal process as an act of vendetta and a witch hunt. Some even questioned the police's proactiveness, especially at a time when The Wire has retracted their story and apologized. The gist was pretty much this. This is an anti-establishment voice and they must not be silenced through this police process. Despite them acknowledging that their content was and fabricated, they deserve the support of society. Now this defense, by the way, let's look at it more closely. This defense and this support follows close on the heels of The Wire lodging a complaint against the man who had helmed their investigative reports. They have called all the documents given by the reporter Devesh Kumar fabrication and forgery, provided with a malintent towards Wire and part of an attempt to damage its reputation. They also say that the moment red flags were raised, The Wire undertook an intense review of the entire reporting exercise. The strange thing though is that the same Wire and the same editors, when they were being questioned on the 10th of October, when these stories first appeared, that this is a forgery based on fake emails, said the following. They said, The Wire stands by both stories based on information from sources we know and trust within Meta. Siddharth Vardarajan further asserted, and I quote, these documents were triangulated with other elements of stories we reported, and any claims by Meta that documents are fabricated are wrong. So now, when Wire claims that all of this is thanks to a mentally disturbed reporter, this claim is a little hard to believe. Anyhow, now when the matter is with the police, the IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar spoke exclusively to Times Now, making it clear that the process is going to take place and any amount of playing victim is not going to stand in the way of propaganda peddling.
I think the consequences of that report have been fairly consistent with what they have done in the past, and I suspect is very core to the strategy, which is they shoot first and there is an underlying sense that their objective is more of a pre-invested narrative of slandering people. And I think that is why Amit Malviya has approached the courts. Absolutely unfortunate that there are platforms like this that are going around peddling stories that are, at the best they are wrong and at the worst they are manufactured with malintent. So it's not healthy for a country of ours, which is 80 crore Indians online. We have done studies in the ministry that misinformation travels faster than and wider and creates a wider audience than the correct information by almost a factor of 8 to 10 times the speed, and significantly higher numbers of audience that it reaches. That is the very nature of intermediaries and social platforms.
So the question now is, on what basis did the wire make all the claims of verification earlier? If their single point of information was always Devesh Kumar, who they now say is highly mentally disturbed and that he misled them to damage their reputation, were the initial claims of multiple sources, triangulation of information, and saying that we know these sources, we've met these sources, these are verified sources, were those claims untrue? And finally, now that an investigation is underway, isn't it in everyone's interest that the truth comes out? All these claims of vendetta, how do they hold any water? And is a process not to be followed simply because some select individuals have been deemed and have been deigned as the ultimate voice of democracy?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, joins us along with Ved Bhushan, retired ACP of Delhi Police, Sandeep Ghosh, author, Vivek Srivastav, political analyst, Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson, Samajwadi Party, Dr. Suman Raman, also political analyst. But Mr. Tiwari, I'll ask you first. Isn't a process, a legal process, supposed to take place? Why call it that this is a vendetta against those who are anti-establishment?
Good evening, Padmaja, to you, the viewers, and my fellow co-panelists. Three things stand. Today, BJP did a press conference where the headline was, "Thug ke yahan thagi ho gayi hai." I look at an article, and when the illustrious minister was talking about the wire, I thought he was talking about Amit Malviya. An article says Amit Malviya's fake news fountain, 16 pieces of misinformation spread by BJP IT cell chief. This is on Scroll. This is published by Alt News, Feb 10, 2020. You're telling 1 year from 2014 to 2022 that BJP, Amit Malviya, Sambit Patra and the champions of fake news in India have not flourished even further. So,
sir, I have no brief for Amit Malviya. My question to you was different. I am asking you fundamentally, Sanju Verma can answer for Amit Malviya or he can answer for himself or the Bharatiya Janata Party can. My question to you is, how is it that when a criminal complaint of conspiracy, fabrication, forgery and criminal conspiracy has been filed and defamation, how is it that a police process has been called a witch hunt against an anti-establishment voice?
Let us look at it, Padmaja. Did a police process happen when a number of media channels broke Tablighi Jamaat and pursued that story? Supreme Court commented on it. Did police complaint happen on and excellent, please do not interrupt.
Yeah,
did the same police did the witch hunt on Riya Chakravarti story? In India, BJP is the master and champion and torchbearer of fake news. News is dead. There are platforms that present one view or another. Today, knives are out against Wire because they stood against BJP, and as a result,
no knives are out.
Have an agenda.
Sir, this is a police complaint based on, this is a police investigation based on a police complaint. Are you saying that because the Wire has stood up to the BJP, the police case should tell Amit Malviya that go away? We will not listen to your complaint, we will not investigate it, go away.
When the Supreme Court commented on Tablighi Jamaat, was
Sir,
any
I am asking
editor
you a
of
simple
the
question. According to you, the Delhi police should tell Amit Malviya that listen, the Wire has stood up for democracy and I stood up to the BJP, so you can get lost. Get lost, go away. We will not investigate your complaint, go away.
You have a government that is hell-bent on being a dictator, that lives and breathes fake news, supports platforms of fake news. So as a result,
Mr. Tiwari, you are calling the Wire a fountainhead of real news when everyone else is fake news, when they themselves have accepted that our story was fake. You are giving them a certificate of honesty that they are not even claiming.
May I come in, Padmaja?
I didn't say that. I'm saying that news is dead, butchered by
Okay, so Wire is also fake news, basically.
Butchered by this government.
That's very uncharitable of you.
That is what I'm saying.
That's uncharitable. All right. Why did they not act with alacrity on other issues? Sanju Verma.
You know, Padmaja, as they say, the only thing worse than a liar is a liar who is also a hypocrite. And while I don't want to take personal pot shots at Ghanshyam Tiwari, let's be very clear that, you know, the Samajwadi Party sitting here and doling out integrity certificates to the BJP is a bit rich. Sorry, but thank you and no thank you. We don't need your lecture on political morality and political propriety, because A, the Wire and its owner Siddharth Varadarajan, they have admitted that there was a fake news which did not pass muster through various protocols that should have been in place.
Okay.
So you sitting here and giving a clean chit to the Wire when Siddharth Varadarajan himself says, "Haan, humse galti hui hai," is not something that I am willing to digest. Point number 2, let's be very clear that this is not just about fake news by the Wire. This is not just about cheating or fraud under section 120B or 420. Look at the serious sections under IPC, 468, 469, 471. There's forgery.
Okay.
The Wire said that it had received, Padmaja, just 10 seconds. The Wire said it had received emails from Andy Stone and Guy Rosen, 2 very senior officers of Meta. And Meta said, we've never written to anybody in Wire. So basically, Ghanshyam, are you sitting here and saying that forgery is something that can be taken lightly?
Dr. Sumansi Raman, serious charges, so the police has to go through the process. Dr. Sumansi Raman, serious charges.
Padmaja,
everybody has a right
I
in this
think
country
first thing
apart
we
from the
have to understand
BJP.
is
that what you're telling me?
Please, Dr. Raman, speak now.
One second. Padmaja, the matter is very simple. The Wire has accepted that they made a mistake and they have retracted the story and they have apologized for the same. Now, to establish that there
You believe that they were misled?
Just
off the cuff, I'm asking
conspiracy.
you. You believe, Dr. Sumansi Raman, that they were misled and it was a mistake?
Look,
I'm asking you, since you're defending them, you think it was a mistake and they were misled?
It is very much possible that they wanted to believe.
They wanted to believe.
It is very much possible that they wanted to believe what Devesh was
Why
telling
do you think
him,
they wanted to believe what Devesh Kumar
and
said?
they did mess up as far as their due diligence was, because definitely the Wire is known to be anti-establishment.
So somebody told them, I've got a great hit job against the BJP, so they wanted to believe it, they believed it. Then it's not a mistake, sir. So you're saying it was propaganda. They got a propaganda piece and they went with it because it was a good propaganda.
That is not conspiracy either. That is not conspiracy.
Okay.
Padmaja,
it's not conspiracy?
That is not forgery. That is not all these charges. It is not a conspiracy.
How is it not
if
forgery?
Somebody comes to me with a story, if I did not do the proper due diligence, if I did not do
No. This is not about not doing proper due diligence. Sir, there have been claims made. Now, hold on a second. Since you said, "Arey, galti ho gayi, ladke mein galti ho jati hai." Now let me actually point out 3 major loopholes.
What he told
in
them,
what you said, loopholes pointed out by
likely.
Mr. Varadarajan himself. Hold on a second. Now let me show to you a couple of communications that were put out, none other than Mr. Varadarajan himself. Remember, this story came out first on the 6th and then that issue pertaining to Amit Malviya subsequently came out on the 10th of October. Subsequently, there were people who said, hello, these documents appear to be fake. What did Mr. Varadarajan reply? Mr. Varadarajan on the 10th of October replied, Meta first claimed the Instagram report the Wire published was fabricated. When we ran Andy Stone's email to disprove that, they claimed the email is fabricated. This is on the 11th, he said. This is the operative part. He says, the Wire stands by both stories which are based on information. Can we please go back to that? The Wire stands by both its stories which are based on information from sources we know and trust within Meta. Who are these sources we know and trust within Meta? Sumansi Raman. Who are these sources? This is not Devesh Kumar. This is Siddharth Varadarajan saying that these are stories from sources we know and trust within Meta. Who are these sources?
Who is we? We refers to the Wire. Do we agree on that?
Mr. Varadarajan is saying we. He is not saying Devesh Kumar.
They get
He is not saying Devesh Kumar sources. His sources we know.
Excuse me.
We.
Excuse me.
So that includes the editor. These are sources we know and met. Has Mr. Varadarajan met the source?
Look, Padmaja. Look, Padmaja. When a story is written by a journalist who is employed by a newspaper, the editor cannot manually verify each and every fact. If you are saying that I can quote at least 2 dozen instances of on where national
Let me show you point number 2.
have carried
Hold on a
fake
second.
news. In fact,
Also,
there are blogs devoted to
Devesh, who you
fake news
blindly
being put
trusted
out.
because he said he
Which
got a
are we
great
going to
story
say
against the
that
BJP.
that the
Let's
proprietors
go to
of
you.
these
Claim
channels
number
or the
2.
editors
Sir,
are
this is from the
responsible for all of
horse's
this?
mouth. Here, these documents were triangulated with other elements of the story that we reported. Triangulated with what? You triangulated one forged document with another forged document. What was the triangulation done?
Look, again, the mistake which has happened very clearly is that they have probably trusted this gentleman or not a gentleman as it turns out to be in hindsight, but we need to find out, as Wire themselves have said, whether, what was the motivation for this man to do what he did. Now, the point very clearly is, my simple point is to say that this is a conspiracy which was deliberately hatched against the ruling party or against Amit Malviya.
Now let me show you another. I will tell you, hold on a second, Sanju Verma, just a second. Let's put the facts out there.
You can show what.
Similarly, on the October 11th, let's go to graphic number 2 now. Hold on a second. Let's go to graphic number 2. On the 11th of October, again Mr. Vardarajan says, to be clear about Meta's laughable fabricated email claim, they want us to believe Andy Stone's email, Rajiv Agrawal's reply a few minutes later, and the Meta India guys who contacted Janvi Sen a few minutes later as ordered, all fake. So let me ask you this, Dr. Sumansi Raman. Devesh triangulated, Devesh met the source, yes. Devesh lied. Who called up Janvi Sen? Mr. Vardarajan here is saying that very specifically Meta India guys called up Janvi Sen. Who called up Janvi Sen? Did Devesh call up Janvi Sen? Or was Mr. Vardarajan fabricating this claim?
That will be known. Look. No, one second. It is eminently possible that somebody might have called Janvi Sen and spoken as being representative from Meta. We do not know the details.
How will we know?
Padmaja, and we
How
are
will we
assuming
know? Unless
that
there is a police investigation.
It is
That's
equally possible. It is equally possible
so
that
how
the wire
will we
was
know
set up
unless there is a police investigation?
One minute.
First of all, emails were fake.
Look, the
stuff
point
was
of the
triangulated.
police investigation
Nobody
is very
knows who
simple.
did it. And when the police says, let me try and find out, you say, why is the police trying to find out? I have a simple question to you.
1 second.
I have a simple question to you. Let me get in Vivek Srivastava as well.
No.
Oh wait, let me get in Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Trying to find out.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, since you have questioned the alacrity of the investigation, I have a simple question. Let's leave Devesh Kumar outside of the equation for just a second. Who called up Janvi Sen?
Padmaja, will raiding Siddharth Vardarajan's house, Janvi Sen's house, will respond to the question who called up Janvi Sen?
Yes, because Janvi Sen's mobile phone has now been taken, and the only way you will get to know who called her up is by looking at her records, and which is why the investigation is happening.
We know how the system works, as in case of Riya Chakravarti. We know how the system works in case of Kamlesh Kamar. The Supreme Court also knows that the circus was played at the cost of the nation, at the cost of this.
Sir, do you have any factual rebuttal to offer other than we know how the system works? I am putting facts in front of you, sir, and your only defense is, oh, this seems to be a coincidence. This is too much of an alacrity. We know how the system works. I am putting in front of you claims made by the editor himself, Sandeep Ghosh. Is it as simple as that? That when the editor says, we have met and verified the source, he is saying, oh, this mentally disturbed man who I have employed and kept in charge of several stories, he has met, but on social media I will say, we have met. Sandeep Ghosh.
Padmaja, I want to make 2 quick points. First of all of us are talking about this is a story, as about a news and a facts.
The way the system has worked.
Let me take news. Mr. Tiwari, just give me a second. We are talking, all of us, as a story, as a news, as a fake news, etc. But please make note. This was peddled by Wire as an investigation. As an investigative story, which they said they have spent weeks and months before they came. When you are doing an investigation, you do not only a due diligence of your source, everything you do, you have no rush to breaking news as Padmaja might have for something else she has been given. You take your time to validate your sources, validate your information, and everybody before you come. Mr. N. Ram tweeted something yesterday to which I asked him, he didn't respond, that when he broke the Bofors story, did he take his sources at face value? He also got it for sources. But before breaking the story, they had done enough amount of due diligence to come up. And Wire was peddling this almost at the same level as a Bofors, a thing just like they had done on Tech4. So let's not, try to brush it off as a story. Somebody has given you, a source has given you, and you didn't trust the source. If you have a source working on it, whether on a month-to-month pay or otherwise, you also do a due diligence on the quality of the source. If the guy is mentally deranged, you don't trust him to do an investigation.
And my question at this point also is, Sandeep Ghosh, today, after being called out, the Wire is saying this man is mentally highly disturbed. Their words, not mine. How do they vouch for their other investigations and other reporters?
Padmaja, 1 minute. Before this, one of the statement they made is saying that the person from our side, doing the story had a personal relationship with somebody inside Meta. Do you make this kind of a statement and then say they were, misled? So I think this
and making that statement post facto. First of all of these disclosures have to be made up front, Vivek Srivastav. And then at the end of it all, let me bring to you tweet number 3 of Mr. Siddharth Vardarajan, where he says, and I quote, and this was done, by the way, when multiple experts have gotten back and said, you have got forged emails. You've got the internal security, information security officer of Meta saying, I hope the Wire is the victim of a fraud and not the perpetrator. Siddharth Vardarajan replies, apart from Meta's fabrication charge, some folks are saying the Wire may have been played by unknown elements out to discredit us or to further some outlandish conspiracy. This is ridiculous. Our stories come from multiple Meta sources whom we know have met and verified. Who are these multiple sources that Mr. Vardarajan quoted on the 12th? Because now he says there's one source, Devesh Kumar. Who are these multiple sources? Was he fibbing about the multiple sources?
Now see. You see, he might have said it to increase the credibility of the Wire. That is a different issue. However, they have acknowledged that there was a mistake. They acknowledged that something happened which should not have happened. They have apologized and they have said that we were let down by our own people. And possibly this could be a part of a bigger game to discredit the Wire, the way Mr. Adani tried to make a hostile takeover of NDTV. It is a very similar case. The government is trying to harm all those platforms, whether it is the national media or it is the social media platforms.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Mr. Srivastav, in 2019, this mentally disturbed person who the Wire hired on its own, unless you are saying that Amit Malviya entered the brain of the editors of the Wire and made them hire Devesh Kumar. In 2019, Devesh Kumar was known to be anti-BJP. He wrote on his Reddit page, running a parallel IT cell from my home against BJP's IT cell, 40 servers on AWS, monitoring 2 lakh bots on Twitter, find my AWS bill in comments. Now, either the BJP is making the Wire hire people who are anti-BJP, in which case a very matrix-like operation that is underway. And the BJP really is like a next level conspirator. Sanju Verma, quick response. You got Devesh to do anti-BJP operations, then got the Wire to hire Devesh.
Absolutely not. It is a conspiracy by the BJP. It is a conspiracy by the BJP.
I'm given my time.
Padmaja,
let Mr. Srivastava finish, then I'll come in.
Padmaja, I need 30 more seconds.
Okay, 30 more seconds. Go on.
Yes, thank you. Now, first of all, I want to add, it is a conspiracy. It is a clear case of a conspiracy. We know what has happened to other journalists, Punya Prasoon Vajpayee, Milind Khandekar, Avisar Sharma. The list is endless. When people fired their own journalists and anchors and editor-in-chief,
I have a simple question to ask you.
Not able to
so
toe
the
line
statement, the
of
complaint,
the government.
hold on a second. The complaint by the Wire itself is a little confusing.
Yes.
The Wire in its complaint first says that he has misled. Hold on a second.
Yes.
First it says that Devesh Kumar has misled us, given us fabricated and forged documents, perhaps at the behest of someone, to discredit our credibility. Then it goes on to say the man is mentally highly disturbed.
Right.
So either the man is really intelligent and conspiratorial and devious, or he's disturbed. Or he's devious, or he's disturbed, or he's deviously disturbed, or he's disturbingly devious. What is the truth? What is going on?
It is very clear.
With this man,
it is very clear.
Devesh Kumar.
The truth is,
he's an enigma wrapped in a
there was a conspiracy against the Wire, and Mr. Devesh Kumar is a man who tried to harm his own organization.
So why did Siddharth Vardarajan defend him for 5 days? Why did Siddharth Vardarajan defend him for 5 days?
No, this cannot be a monologue by this man. It can't be a monologue by Mr. Srivastava.
Okay, respond, Sanju Verma. It's come down to this. It's come down to this. It's basically come down to the BJP and how devious and calculating and matrix-like you are. Sanju Verma.
Yes.
Thank you. I hope I'm not going to be heckled, because I have not heckled anyone on this panel. Let's be very clear. Mr. Vardarajan was chest beating, chest thumping, saying our story on Meta is credible. We have met the people, we know the people, and our sources are verifiable. Then, on the 18th of October, from 5th October to 17th October, he kept saying our story is credible. Whereas on the 11th October, Wire's bluff was called out by Andy Stone and Guy Rosen of Meta. The apology came very late, somewhere in the intervening nights of October 22nd and October 23rd. So let's be very clear. Wire the liar, which is for hire,
You are being
kept
repetitive.
lying till its bluff was called. Point number one. Point number two. I want to read out in 20 seconds what Siddharth Vardarajan said. This combination of not fully grasping the complexities of technology and a slippage in editorial assessment of tech-related matter resulted in the publication of stories which did not eventually hold up. For this, we owe an apology to our readers. So Siddharth Vardarajan, after all that chest thumping, finally apologized that he was running a fake story. But was there an apology to Amit Malviya?
Okay.
Was there an apology to the BJP? Was there an apology to the Modi government, which Wire tried to discredit? No.
Okay, so now anyway it has gone to the police, so I think the whole issue of an apology is out of question. Before I come to you, Sandeep Ghosh, I really must bring in Mr. Ved Bhushan, because Mr. Bhushan, again and again it has been said that the story may have been wrong, but it was retracted and apology has been issued. In that situation, क्या केस खत्म हो जाता है? अगर पुलिस के सामने कंप्लेंट है, बट स्टोरी रिट्रैक्ट हो चुकी है, क्या केस खत्म है? पुलिस कह सकती है कि ये FIR is null and void. भाग जाओ.
Not at all, Padmaja. This complaint was received at police headquarters on 29th. And the police was duty bound to investigate this case. Police can't sit over it. Let the date will be finished, then we will initiate our investigation. Police served 91 notice to give the evidences, electronic evidences, documentary evidences to the alleged persons, but they never gave. Then police conducted raid, because there was all possibility there will be tampering with the evidences, and allegations are very serious. Forgery, cheating, fraud, impersonation, criminal conspiracy. 10 years conviction is there. It's a session trial case, is not a simple case of metropolitan magistrate. It will be tried by a sessions court, which can convict at least 10 years. It's not a easy issue. ये कह देना कि मेंटल स्टेट ठीक नहीं थी देवेश की, इसलिए वो कर गया, स्कॉट फ्री नहीं किया सकता कानून में. He will be medically examined.
घनश्याम तिवारी, despite the fact apology retraction case चलेगा, ये प्रोसेस है. घनश्याम तिवारी.
नहीं, the honorable police officer can also tell कि अगर ऐसे केस चले तो संबित पात्रा कितने दिन तक जेल में रहेंगे और अमित मालवीय कितने दिन तक जेल में रहेंगे, जब दुनिया भर के न्यूज़पेपर्स ने, मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स ने उनके फेक न्यूज़ पब्लिश किया है। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता। जैसा कि संबित पात्रा, बीच में मत बोलिए, मैं आपके बीच में नहीं बोल रहा था, बीच में मत बोलिए, बीच में मत बोलिए, मैं आपके बीच में नहीं बोल रहा था। एक सेकंड मुझे बोलने दीजिए। जब संबित पात्रा कहते हैं ठग के घर ठगी हुई है, आप 8 साल से देश के लोगों का विश्वास ठग रहे हैं न्यूज़ फैलाकर।
Mr. Tiwari, rhetoric aside, you are far too learned to know this already, that you go and you file a police complaint against both the gentlemen.
Go to the court.
वो केस भी पुलिस को ट्राई करना चाहिए।
Why you not make complaint?
आप करिए ना पुलिस कंप्लेंट।
We are not a banana republic. We know what has happened in this country. Please don't. I cannot be heckled by Padmaja and the police officers.
ओके, वेदभूषण जी एक सेकेंड, इनको अपनी बात करने दीजिए। आप पुलिस कंप्लेंट कीजिए अमित मालवीय के खिलाफ, आप कीजिए ना पुलिस कंप्लेंट।
8 साल हो गए, अनेक मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म से पब्लिश किया है कि किस तरीके से अमित मालवीय
पुलिस कंप्लेंट कीजिए ना, प्लेटफॉर्म में पब्लिश करके कुछ नहीं होता। आप कंप्लेंट कीजिए।
Why are you heckling me?
I'm not. I'm saying, have you filed a complaint which hasn't been investigated?
Allow me to complete a sentence.
Okay,
because a cabinet minister gave a certificate of appreciation to Amit Malviya that you showed in a footage. I must state that this is the state of affairs in India. The fountainheads of fake news are calling others liars, and that is the reason I have a problem.
But sir, you still haven't answered. Have you filed a case against Amit Malviya?
Well, when the Supreme Court says...
Have you filed a case against Amit Malviya?
When the Supreme
Have you
Court
filed a case, sir? Have you filed a case?
Is saying, why are you heckling?
Sir, have you filed a case?
I listen to you. Allow me to complete a sentence.
But sir, you're not answering my question. You're going off on another tangent. You said 21 pieces of fake news have been done. This has been done. Please let it be settled by the police and the court. Have you filed a case?
Please do not heckle. In September 2021, the Supreme Court said section of media is spreading fake news and hate news. Do you think that police doesn't know about it?
Okay.
What are we talking
Sandeep
about?
Ghosh. Sandeep Ghosh.
I will take just 10 seconds, Padmaja, to point out an irony. Mr. Siddharth Varadarajan's brother, Tunku Varadarajan, who is a foreign citizen, is tweeting asking Indian citizens to rise in support of Mr. Siddharth Varadarajan, who is an US citizen, for faking and fabricating against a US multinational corporation, one of the biggest, Meta. Could be more ironic than that. Indians should rise against this kind. Assume there was a non-American citizen in America doing this to an American MNC. What would have been US's reaction to this? And we are saying that they should not, investigate this person because they have retracted the story. And this is a point people need to note. Tunku Varadarajan is not an Indian citizen. He's openly tweeting, asking Indian citizens to rise in favor of Siddharth Varadarajan, who is an US citizen, and asking for what? For fabricating data regarding an US multinational, one of the largest US corporations in the world, which is Meta. This is something which must sink in.
And as far as the process is concerned, remember, in this open season, in the last couple of years, there have been a number of cases where people from within the media have been under scrutiny. But there have been differences. Some media people, when they face the law, it's acceptable because they are Godi media. But then others are the real media, and when they have to face the law, suddenly it becomes a witch hunt. Have we now decided that in the public discourse and space, people will certify who is to be subjected to the Indian law, and it's cheered on, and who will be granted immunity because they're anti-establishment? I'll leave you with that thought. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, Sanju Verma, for joining me.